Welcome to But I Digress, a cocktails and conversation podcast with your hosts, Warren Smith and me, Irish Stewart. Come on in, honey.
And yes, hello, welcome to another podcast of But I Digress with, of course, Warren and Irish. I'm, of course, Warren, and I'm, of course, talking to Irish. How are you, Irish?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that you told everybody which one of us was which.
Well, just in case. You never know. It's a modern world.
It is a modern world. I could be named Warren. I did know a woman named Lawrence once, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I worked, well, didn't work with, but I did business once with I don't really know if I should say male, female. Person, okay. Because there was a company I used to work with. I don't think they exist anymore in Australia. Called I can tell this story. I think it's fine. We're
just jumping right into it tonight too. I think.
We're not even introduced yet
because we've been talking for almost an hour already.
I know. Anyone listening to this show, it's cocktails and conversation. It's Warren and Irish sit back and on the either side of the Pacific, and we have a few cocktails and we talk about life and the universe and everything. Basically, there's no format to the show. We just chat, basically. So
I'm roughly the other side of the Pacific from you. You got to go across the entire United States to get to me there. So you and I are literally on opposite sides of the world.
Well, yes, if we look at it that way. So we've got the
I just
Atlantic.
Argue. Let's do it.
Well, then we've got the Atlantic. We've got Africa. Then we've got the Indian Ocean.
Are we really going to do geography? Because
I don't know. It's time to do geography now. Sorry, that's a YouTube channel. No. Anyway, let's
banana, Warren. We're starting this already.
I know.
Safe
All right.
word is banana.
So, no. Anyway, I was starting. No, we haven't actually, and
that's why we're doing this. This is.
I've been a little bit ill, and you've been away.
Bodily ill. I've been mentally away and and physically, yes.
But we are all back. We are all back now, and catching up and saying chin chin, cheers, and talking about life.
Yeah, and I interrupted a story you were going to tell, and now I'm going to test you to see if you remembered what it was.
Ha! Yes, I do. Because
good. Because
I've only had two sips of my drink, so I'm doing all right. You see,
it's earlier for you than it is for me.
No, but it was a company called Femtech, and what it was it was IT support for people who now I hope I'm getting these terms right, who liked to cross dress. So in other words, they didn't go through any surgery or anything along those lines, but they were men who wanted to dress as women, and they wanted to be treated as women. They had women's names and so forth. Well, and the idea was that they could go to people's houses, and so when you met the technician at the door, if you're wearing a dress and you're a man, there was no judgment. No one would laugh at you. They would treat you with respect, as if with total respect. And so it was a business. Oh yeah, go on.
Can I ask then? Would they be considered transgendered even if they weren't post-operative? Transgender?
I don't know.
I think
really don't know.
I think if they're dressing as women, and they feel that they are women and they're using women's names and they're taking on and they identify as a woman, then they're a woman.
Right. Okay.
That's in my, okay. And then because gender, and we're going to get into something deep here if you want to go here, but gender is not the same thing as biological sex.
Oh, no, I understand that.
Yeah. So you're born biological, but your gender is more psychological. Your gender is who you know you are inside. Just like you might never have had to decide to be, if you are, I'm not going to judge, but I would assume based on our conversations, and pardon me if I'm wrong, that you are a heterosexual man. You didn't decide to become a heterosexual man. You were it was just simply the natural progression of things.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people know who they are, or not sometimes, and then I change subjects. Basically,
look,
people know who they are, and they don't have to decide that. They just know who they are. So I think that falls in line with that. I think that might be considered transgendered. Okay. I do believe that it's a really cool thing to have a business where that could happen and people would expect it and treat people with respect. Because I feel like in society, that's something that we're lacking, is a lack of judgment for people who are different from us. You know?
I couldn't agree more. I've always stood by the argument that I think people should be able to be who they either need to be or want to be, or feel that they should have been. I fully stand
except for Donald Trump. And his ilk. I have to make that caveat. It's a caveat for me. I'm sorry. I have to just say that. They piss me off.
Their whole idea is we hate cancel culture, but they only hate cancel culture if someone else tries to cancel them. They spend their lives trying to cancel everybody else. It's a fucking joke. Anyway, yeah, I know.
They're a joke, and they're dangerous, though. I think it is like the only people I have an issue with are fucking fascists and bigots. Those are like I have a real problem with fascists and bigots and racists, and I count racists in the biggest category.
It's very interesting. In the new series of Star Trek, Strange New what is it? Strange New World.
Don't tell me anything.
No, I don't want to tell you anything, but I will just say this thing. Now, how do I say that? I want to say this without giving any giveaways at all.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, is that put it to you this way, they punched Donald Trump in the face. Okay, Yay. I would just say that. Because they do talk about, because we all know with Star Trek lore how the world goes to shit, we then get the eugenic wars, and then the eugenic wars turn into World War III, and 30% of the world's population is wiped out. The human race rebuilds itself into two alliances.
I know the 30% of America. I'm sorry.
I know.
Sorry. That was really wrong.
And then of course Zephyr Cochrane, makes his great invention, and then of course we're met by the Vulcans, and the rest is as the history, as they say, even though it hasn't happened yet. But the but they do talk about. I told you
earlier. You're a man from the future. You are a time traveler.
Yes.
You're 14 years ahead of me. It is tomorrow where you stand.
Right.
For me,
my TARDIS,
anything is possible.
My TARDIS is working correctly, but the thing is that this is going back to like 1997. Now I'm talking about when I had dealings with them, and so the thing was a pretty different world then. 1997. Okay, and
unless you were in Orlando in a rave at the time, but
it was. But the thing was, one thing I have to say is that the people I worked with never had a problem. So that I've got to take my hats off to everyone I worked with at that point in time.
Because not everybody I know doesn't have a problem at this point. And you keep talking to them and you hope that they get it, but they still can't wrap their head around it. And it makes them kind of ugly sometimes. And they don't mean to be.
I'll tell you a story
some of them do.
I'll tell you a story about what somebody told me about Star Trek. What two people have told me about Star Trek in regards to this, which I've got a bit of a problem with. But I'll get to that in just a second. But the thing was that I still remember the first time, and this was meant to be the funny bit, and I still think it's funny, even though I give 100% support, and that was that the very first time I rang them, I didn't know who the hell they were. I had no idea. And I was given a message to call them, and I called them, and I got this person answer the phone, and I said I needed to speak to, I don't know who it was Lucy or what, I can't remember the name, right? And then and I was like, we'll just get them, right? And then this person came up the phone and says, "G'day, this is Lucy." And it was
don't judge voices because you never know.
No. But what I mean is, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and it threw me. And then when I found out what the company was, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's all fine." But the thing was,
I know that you don't have a problem with that kind of thing.
But the thing was that when you don't know what the hell the company is or what they're trying to do,
you weren't expecting it because it's not typical.
I know.
Yeah, especially back in '97. You're right.
'97, yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I have evolved since '97. I mean, I don't think I
hope
was
we
as
all
good
have.
person.
I hope we all have.
Yeah, I would say I probably would have had prejudices. I would have had some
How
prejudices.
many sips of your drink have you
Yeah, I
had?
know. I didn't say how big they were. Back then that I probably am not proud of now. I'm sure we all do. I don't think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm sure I said, and I say stupid things a lot anyway. But I'm sure that I've said things that are regrettable in the past. I know that my views have evolved over time. That doesn't mean that I felt like I was ever non-inclusive. I felt like at the time I was an inclusive person, but what I realized is that I didn't understand what being inclusive meant. And I've never had learning something new for me and like accepting it has never been a problem. I get it. And once I learn better, I do better. And that's the difference. And I think that that's, to kind of paraphrase Maya Angelou, once you know better, you do better. Well, and if you don't, that's on you. Because if you know better, if you learn better and you know better and you don't do better, that's your own problem.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
We can only control ourselves and our own reactions to things and our own thoughts.
I mean, I heard Lee Marvin interviewed once, and apparently in the 1970s he did an interview with Playboy magazine.
Won't somebody think of the children?
I know, but so many people used to do interviews with, like Playboy actually did. I mean, I know a lot of people don't believe this, but sounding like Donald Trump.
They read it for the interviews, man.
I know, but the thing was that if you really did do that and tore out every pictorial that was in there and all the rude jokes and the cartoons and all the rest of it, if you actually did that, there were actually very serious interviews and essays, in Playboy. Yeah. Which was always the weird thing about that magazine. But anyway, Lee Marvin, I remember seeing him interviewed, and he was being questioned about the fact that he had said some rather misogynist things, apparently, in an interview in the 1970s in Playboy. And he was being interviewed. I think it was meant to be a couple of years after he had given that interview, and he was saying, look, and he said, I regret what I said. But he said, the truth is, I can't change it. So the thing is that it's now written, it's in print forever. I admit I said those things. If you asked me today, do I agree with those things? I no longer do. But I can't deny that I did once say those things. And I thought, well, you can't be much more honest than that.
Look, I get that. I feel like sometimes as a society, we're too hard on people who learn better and try to do better. Like stuff will come up and you'll find something they said 20 years ago. And even though they haven't said anything like that since, or they've made changes and I guess you never really know a person, and as cynical as I am, I hope to give people the opportunity to prove to me that they have made the change that they say they have. If indeed they're different, because I know, as I said, that I have also evolved. I hope that as a society, as humanity as a whole, every minute that goes by, I hope we evolve to be better. Now, all of us aren't doing that, but that should be the goal, right? That should be the goal for all of us. And when I say to be better, I mean to be more inclusive and more understanding and more open and more loving and more kind and more compassionate to each other. Now, don't get me wrong, you've known me a long time. I am not one to put up with somebody's bullshit. I don't want to coddle people who are racists or bigots or things like that. But, I understand that people, even somebody that had belonged to the Klan way, way back, can, and it's rare, but they can make a change and have a change of thinking and a change of heart and learn better and do better. And I think that that's really all that anybody can expect from any other human being on the planet, is that each day you try to be better than you were the day before. And I know that sounds like a schmucky, like schmaltzy thing to say. It's sappy, right? But I love alliteration, so you hear me. But I also like the thesaurus. But I just feel like if we all thought about it that way, and we all stopped trying to control the behaviors and the thoughts and the patterns of other people all the time, and really, really focused on what we ourselves were doing to be better and what we were doing every single day to make somebody else's life better or other people's lives better. I mean, I just feel like that's what we should be doing.
Well, I saw an amazing interview once. You know how there's lots of these programs, you know, sort of, what is it, comedians in cars or buying coffee with...
the carpool karaoke.
Yes, and all of that. There's there was one done in Britain with Robert Llewellyn, and anyone who's a Red Dwarf fan will know who Robert Llewellyn is. It's like
I just love the Welsh name Llewellyn. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Noah better be happy that wasn't his name.
And anyone will remember the amazing character of the amazing robot Crichton from Red Dwarf. It's like with a great line of Chris Barry. I think we should go to Red Alert. Crichton's line is, "Are you absolutely sure that's necessary?" "Yes, Crichton. Of course it is." "Are you sure, sir? It does mean changing the bulb." Red Dwarf. If people have never seen Red Dwarf, if you like British humour, it is a sitcom set as a science fiction. It is absolutely hilarious, and Robert Llewellyn, his characterisation of this robot, is absolutely brilliant. But anyway, you
don't always have to cut yourself off. No, I'm interested in that. I actually have not seen that.
Oh, just look up.
And I love British humor, and no, I have not seen that.
Look up clips on YouTube of Red Dwarf, and then just watch a few of them, and you'll get a bit of an indication of what the show is. And then it's
like you told me to do this before.
Well, maybe not.
No, no, that's just me talking to me.
Yeah, it's set like several hundred years in the future, and the idea they're on a mining ship in deep space called the Red Dwarf, and what happens is that this character Dave Lister, he's like the lowest of the lowest rank on the ship, you know, like he's second technician who has to serve the number one technician, and their job is to clean the nozzles on the soup dispensing machines on the actual deck of the ship.
Somebody has to make
somebody
the
has to do it.
Man.
I know, that's exactly right. But what happens is that in episode one you have to remember was. This show's been going for 20 years, all right? So, episode number one, what happens is that he gets he smuggles a pregnant cat on board the ship. And, anyway, so what happens is he goes...
And hijinks abound.
So because of this, he's broken the rules. He's found guilty, and he gets put into stasis. Because apparently when you do your criminal time... in the future, because it's too cruel to make people suffer, so they will do the 5 years imprisonment in stasis, so you don't realise it's happened. And
what is the point?
This is a sitcom, for God's sake. All right, okay. So anyway, so what happens is
so they don't have to deal with you for 5 years.
Yes. So he gets put into stasis with the cat, and while this happens. Something goes wrong, and the entire crew are irradiated and die. Okay, and then he gets woken up from stasis, bit Futurama style, 1 million years in the future.
Oh my gosh!
And to find that the ship's computer is the dumbest computer on the you've ever seen, because it's
universe.
Because it's
no planet.
Because the thing is, it's 1 million years old, so it's breaking down all the time. So this computer's, but the problem is that's relayed through a human interface, so it's really dumb. Like, it's just really dumb. And then to stop him going nuts, they bring his superior, technician number one, Arnold Rimmer, back as a hologram to keep him safe. And then there's this wonderful actor who's called Cass, and he's meant to be the
cat.
Well, yeah, but through natural selection. No, the cats have evolved into a new species, so
God.
he's now a human cat, right? And then it took a couple of seasons in, they picked up this robot called Crichton. So it's a wonderful show. Anyway, that really was. But I digress.
You digress.
But no,
this is why we changed the name of the show, Warren. This is why. You and me. This is it.
But what I was trying to say, and I'll say this really quickly now, so you actually have a chance to talk, is that I've done
I'm having a grammar discussion in my head. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
I've had a couple of people who told me that they've stopped watching Star Trek because they say it's too woke and they won't watch it.
Shit. And did they not see episode 1? Like, seriously, what is wrong with them?
And this is my whole argument, is I don't understand all of this. In fact, I've even said, what is woke? I keep asking people, what is woke? Tell me what woke is. Because
it's a stupid fucking word.
Because everyone I talk to seems to have a different interpretation of what the hell it actually means.
It doesn't mean anything. It means you give a shit about people.
I know.
It means you're not prejudiced. It means you're not a bigot. It means you're not a fascist. How horrible.
And when it comes down to it, they say, I won't watch Discovery, it's too woke. And I say, well, what's your problem with this? And what it comes down to is very, 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 very clear. It's because the lead actor is black and they've got a transgender person on it and they've got a gay couple on it.
Oh, that doesn't mean it's too woke. That means you're a bigot.
Well,
sorry.
This is the thing. And then I had spoke to someone else who said they're glad that Star Trek Picard has finally finished because season 2 is wrapped up, and I don't believe we're getting any more.
He's very. No, I think they were shooting season 2 and season 3.
Okay, so we
season
might
3
get
simultaneously.
Okay, all right then.
So, but you know what? He's not as old as they're trying to make him look on there. So,
he looks younger in interviews than he does on the screen.
Because they're aging him for Picard. It's makeup and stuff. I'm not saying prosthetics. I'm saying they're aging him based on.
Okay, that's interesting. Because
I
then had someone else say that season 2 was totally ruined has been totally ruined because at the end of season 1 of Picard they made Jerry Ryan gay. And I thought,
my God!
And I thought to myself, hang on, can we just slow down a little bit? Okay, first of all, she's not gay because if you watched fucking Voyager, you know that's not the case. If she's bisexual, who gives a flying fuck? Like, what the hell?
7 of 9. I think
is a problem.
And 7. I feel like she is not bi or gay. I feel like she's just kind of more pan. I feel like she likes the wine and not the bottle it's in. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And you know, a point I brought up with someone who just laughed
and
me
also,
off
who cares?
Well, there is this who cares. But what I said is that, hang on, if you've got different species getting married and having children and in relationships and having sets and all the rest of it, they're different species from different planets. I mean, how the fuck is homosexuality?
Well, that's fine as long as there's just one boy and one girl and they get married. I'm sorry.
You know, I mean, it's like, fuck. I mean, although I have to admit, though, in Star Trek Enterprise, interspecies mating was addressed actually as an entire season. The whole idea that their claim was that, because, you know, when T'Pol and have a child.
Yeah, and I know that they say species can't intermix, but I mean, let's be honest. We have, donkeys and horses.
No.
So I'm just saying.
No.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I don't believe the science on the fact that species can't.
No. Just Star Trek gets around that. They say because if you watch Enterprise, the first interspecies child is about to die, and because it's not working, and but they find a medical solution, and that's why by the time you get to the Star Trek, the original series, and then on to Star Trek, the Next Generation.
They've solved it.
They've solved it. So different species can actually interbreed, you know what I mean, have children.
Yeah, have children.
Right.
Sure. No, that's a correct term.
Yeah, but one of
sure.
the plot lines, I think it was in season 4, the last season of Star Trek Enterprise, was that there was a terrorist group trying to actually kidnap the child because they saw the child as a religious abomination, because the child was half human, half Vulcan. So they did actually address it in Star Trek, that, you know, the bigotry of...
you mean prejudice?
You know,
yeah. I mean, there's definitely...
Yeah.
It's still alive and well today. And I felt like I was happy to see something, and I want to talk to you about this because we talked about Eurovision going on right now. And I mentioned to you that we just had our first version ever of Eurovision here in the U.S., which was called American Song Contest. And I don't understand what took so fucking long for us to get this here. When I first watched the Eurovision movie on Netflix, the Story of Fire Saga or something I told you about.
Yes. Great movie.
And I laughed about how corny and like over the top it was. And you told me it really wasn't that far off from the actual performances and the performers. You weren't actually that far off from what you guys do in Eurovision. And I was like, oh, that's very funny, you know? And so we did American Song Contest. And I thought, maybe he isn't wrong, right? This is very produced. We have, like, it's very, like, every single number is very produced with all kinds of, like, pyrotechnics and choreography and everything. And I was very impressed. And then tonight, Warren, I got to watch for the very first time ever an episode of Eurovision because, and we're not sponsoring them, but I'm just going to tell you where to find it. You can find it on Peacock, the streaming service, here in the U.S. That's where I watched it. You can watch it for free if you have a subscription, which I think is free. I'm not sure.
Okay, and everyone in Europe and Australia knows where to watch it anyway, so I won't mention it here.
Of course they do. But we've never seen it here, even though you've been talking about it to me forever. So I was super, like, curious. And then we had ours, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And so I'd seen ours, and I thought, oh, they're saying this is the American version of Eurovision. So I was like, okay. I watched the first half of the first semifinals tonight because, as I told you, they split ours into 2 each. You were not kidding about Fire Saga, man.
Yeah. And you haven't even got to the finals yet.
I don't even know what the hell was going on most of the time. But I loved it. Let's be honest. I loved it. Yeah. And I was surprised because I actually thought, and maybe it's my fault, my ignorance from taking my information from a terrible Netflix movie, which was very funny. I'm sorry. The Fire Saga thing is that I thought that the contestants couldn't sing songs that weren't in English. Am I wrong on that? But now they are.
Oh, no.
Was that recently changed?
No.
That was just for the movie.
No. The movie, it is what happens in the movie is that the Icelandic Eurovision Committee, so in other words, that's the Icelandic Broadcasting Corporation or whatever.
Right, the ones that chose, that choose who's represented.
Okay, it's been historically shown that songs in non-English tend not to win. So songs that are in English tend to win. Okay. So what tends to happen is that they, a lot of countries where English is not the first language, they want to perform the song in English because they reckon they've got more chance of winning if they do. So that's what that whole argument was about, because her song that she does at the very end is in Icelandic.
In Icelandic. Yeah.
But no,
Which was beautiful. The woman who sang that, oh my God, her voice was amazing.
Yeah. Which she was a winner of, I think, like Iceland's Got Talent or something like that. She's
so gorgeous.
So no, that's what that was meant to be about. Yeah.
So I was surprised that they weren't singing, and some of them weren't singing in English, which I thought was really cool because I don't get a chance to hear Dutch and different languages that often, actually spoken or sung. So I really enjoyed it. my mother, who I was watching with, of course, because as a lot of people know, I share a home with her. She lamented that they weren't giving us subtitles because she's a baby boomer and she can't help but want to know what the hell they're saying. Right. And the reason why it matters to her is because it's a song contest. So it shouldn't just be the sound of the song and the performance of it, but also the lyrics. So if you can't understand the lyrics, you don't know what the song is talking about, you can't judge it properly. And you know what? I do kind of understand where she's coming from. But again, as an American, I understand that we do expect everything to be for us. So, I will let that go. But, so just seeing the first half of the first semifinal, can you guess who was my favorite one for the first half?
So you've only seen about 10 of the acts of the 20 of
I think
of
so,
number.
Yes.
So do you remember who the last act was? It would have been Austria or someone like that would have been
I
the
did
last.
see Austria. I think Austria might have been the last. Tell me what was the next one.
I can't remember now. I do know that there was no one in semi-final one because I've seen all the semi-final one. Oh, we should just say so people know what we're talking about. We're halfway through Eurovision as we're recording this. When you're listening to this, Eurovision will all be over. So please take that right. So please take that into account. When you're listening. Okay.
For me, it is now very, very early morning on Saturday the 14th.
Yes.
And for you, it is the afternoon or evening. On the 15th?
Yes.
Right?
Although
now, as we're recording,
because of commitments, I've been forced to not watch semi-final 2 until tonight. So we're I'm even a little bit behind, and it won't be until tomorrow when I watch the finals that it'll all be. But anyway,
I don't think we actually get semifinal 2 until the 22nd.
Which is
and even though the finale is going on very soon, I don't think we're going to get that until after.
Well, semifinal 2 is Saturday night European time. So
so that's tonight for you.
So no,
that's tonight for me.
No, for us
or next week.
Well, for Australia, it's actually Sunday morning.
Okay, so it's next Saturday for you then.
No. Tomorrow, as in tomorrow.
You said it's what day is it? Sunday morning?
So, okay, right now in Australia, as we're recording, it's Saturday afternoon. So the final is actually Sunday morning. Yeah. So
y'all have to excuse me. I don't do the maths.
I know. So
sorry.
Okay. So, but Australians.
Okay, so it'll be tonight.
Yeah, so Australians actually have 2 ways of viewing it, all right? And that is that you can get up at 5 in the morning, watch it live, and you can vote, because we're allowed to vote, okay?
Right, right.
Or what the SBS does, the SBS, which is the channel, which is the Australian Eurovision Network, what it does, it also plays it in the evening. So if you don't want to do the morning thing, you can watch it in the evening, but you just can't vote. Okay.
Well, we can't vote anyway, and we're seeing it late.
Know. Yeah. So this year, my Eurovision experience is going to be not voting and watching it late, just because of life.
Well, because of life. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think Austria might have been our last one.
Right. Austria wasn't bad. I personally, of all the acts
in that first.
So you wouldn't have seen Greece yet.
No, I did see Greece. I did see Greece.
Greece wasn't bad. There was. I
enjoyed Greece.
Okay, I'll be truthful with you. They were a bit too. Everyone from semi-final 1, and as I said, haven't seen semi-final 2 yet, and that's where Australia is. So fingers crossed.
I haven't seen the second half of semi-final 1 yet.
I know is that. It was very rock and rolly this year, which is not really my thing. As was it Austin Powers says, it's not my bag, baby. So for me, I don't know. Maybe Lithuania was maybe what I liked. I loved her with that almost that very 1970s haircut with the very 1970s. Cocktail dress and with that very slow sort of. So I quite like that. I don't think it's a winner, but I quite like that. You don't know who I thought I might have enjoyed the most
out of that first half of that episode.
Could it have? Oh, did you see? Have you seen Norway? You know, with the dogs and
Oh
the
my
bananas.
God. Okay. I was going to mention them. Yes, I saw Norway. They were not my favorite, but I have to say the I want your grandma thing was too much.
I know. Well, I'm
They
thinking.
were wolf heads. Please
Okay.
watch it. It was crazy.
I'm wondering, did you like Denmark with the vegetable song, which was code for something else? If you
I know.
didn't realize,
You know what? I didn't hate the song, but they were not my favorite. And honestly, I think you're going to be surprised.
okay, I'm not too sure then. I really don't know. So who was your favorite?
Well, I thought Ukraine fucking rocked it. Okay.
Well,
Let's say
I've got something to say about that.
they're
in
a
minute,
favorite.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to be a favorite this year. But yeah, you can say what you want. I enjoyed them. But my favorite one from the first half of semifinal one, and it's just because, God damn it, they were having so much fun. It was Moldova.
Hang on, I'm trying to
loved
remember.
them.
What was Moldova?
It was
again?
like a fucking polka.
Oh yes,
fantastic.
I remember
It
now.
was
Yes,
so
I know.
Fun, and I don't care what anybody else was doing. Those people were having the best time of their goddamn lives up there.
Okay.
And it came through, and it was so much fun to listen to. It was the one that really got me. And I have to admit, it was fun. I right now, and I have only seen through, I think, Austria, like you said. I really think now Moldova is my favorite. Not because I think their song was the best, but because I had the most fun while I listened to them.
So when you were watching semi-final one, you didn't get to see them announce who went through. You didn't get to see that.
No,
Okay.
because we haven't finished semifinal
Right.
one
Okay,
yet.
all right. Okay,
and
so,
we have
yeah.
the host. You guys have your hosts on the show, and then we have a host on our end, Johnny
Yes.
Weir, the ice skater.
Yep. Okay.
So I don't
That's
know if
always
he's
the way.
hosting for you guys as well, but he's hosting for us.
Oh no. We actually have somebody there in Italy doing our hosting, because
Okay.
if you compete, one of the deals is your hosts have actually got to be in the arena hosting from the arena.
Oh,
So,
well, he's just in a, we're not competing. So he's just in a room commentating, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's after the fact. I can't tell, but
yeah.
so that's who we have.
Oh no, our hosts actually are physically there. So they've been in Italy all week, and they wander around, they do interviews with everybody, and they actually
I think we have your Australian host. Is it two guys and a girl with dark hair and short bangs?
No, we just have a guy and a girl.
Okay, so I thought they said Australia, but I guess not.
I'm not too sure.
I was probably high or something.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you love the start of it when they say "Hello, Europe and Australia"? They always.
Hey, I heard
they always
Australia,
do.
and I was like, Warren's so happy right now.
They always do. They always do, because they always used to just do "Hello, Europe." But now they all do the "Hello Europe" and Australia, right? Where I've heard a lot of people say, why don't they just say "Hello Eurovision," rather than? But anyway, it's
maybe, speaking of, we had our American Song Contest, and I wanted to know, because we're doing ours like our states were countries, basically, because a lot of our states are the same size as a lot of European countries. So we did ours, and I want to know, why don't they do one in Asia and then combine it and combine everything, and do a World Vision? Okay. And we could have the winners from everywhere go and compete. I think that would be really fun.
You are onto something that has been talked about for the last 20 years. Okay.
Well, then get on it, people. What's wrong with that?
Well, it all. Yeah. I don't know. Now
that we're doing it in the U.S., everywhere should just do it, right?
I think there's a couple of things. There was a deal done with my understanding with Australia. Okay, when Australia's been watching Eurovision since like the 1970s.
Didn't ABBA come from them?
No, ABBA did come. They were actually compete. They won for Sweden in the 1970s.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But but Australia has been watching since the 1970s, but we haven't actually become an active member. We've only
We
been
didn't
an
even know
active
it
member
existed.
for the last 7 years or something like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're a newcomer to a degree, but then again, Eastern Europe didn't join until like 1990. Well, actually, until the early thousands, we didn't start seeing Bulgaria and Albania and Poland and all. So when I was watching it when I was much, much younger, it was just Western Europe. The whole thing was done in one night. It was just the Western European countries. And Israel, of course. It is so different now, in that sense. But I do believe that there was a deal done where when Australia joined, that they created the rights to Asia Vision. Which, well, no, it wasn't Asia Vision.
Did they do it? Do they have one?
Well, no, it wasn't Asia Vision. I think it was called Pacific Vision, where the whole idea was meant to be, it would be the Pacific Rim.
Nations.
So Canada could be in it, right?
Okay.
Right, so you have Canada, Japan, China, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Chile, New Zealand, Australia. Right, so there was this, but it never really went anywhere. There was a short-lived, I believed, Asia Vision, but when we say Asia Vision, we're talking about that from a European perspective. So it was kind of like India, Pakistan,
You're right.
Bangladesh.
That's my bad.
Right, okay, so it was that sort of thing.
That's me reminding myself.
Yeah.
No, that's
That's
my bad.
In Australia, we say Asia. It's just that I know that some European countries, when they say Asia, they're referring to.
I feel
India
like let's stop lumping people together. I don't want to be lumped together with other white people. Come on, let's not do that.
But I think the reason why it's never happened, and I think
Warren,
why it probably
acknowledge my joke.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry. The reason why it's not going to happen is that they want it kept as theirs. That Europe has allowed Australia in as it's kind of like, all right, you guys have been knocking on the door for 40 years. All right, we're going to let you in. But
the girls, the no girls allowed treehouse has to get opened up. But mom came and yelled at her.
Yeah, but that's it. No more. Doors closed. No more, right? Because I think their problem is that once it expands any further than it has now, they lose control of it. It's not theirs anymore. Do you know? And I think the thing is that it's something which is so big, so popular, such a huge cash cow that I was
shocked at how many people were in the stadium to watch it. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's a huge international event, and the thing is that I think that once they open it up truly to the world, once this happens, even if it was done in separate, bits, and then it's not theirs anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it's like,
I understand wanting to keep something for yourself, but I think it's selfish. But that's fine.
Well, yeah.
Let me tell you about our stuff, though. I want to tell you about our show. We don't have to talk about whether or not they're going to let us have that or not. Unless you had something else you wanted to say.
No. I've been talking too much. I think people would like to listen to your voice.
You say that every episode, but I interrupt
everyone
constantly.
Everyone on Twitter says how much they love you. That's why I've got to shut up.
Don't be stupid. Oh my God.
Don't worry.
Let's not get into that.
No.
So
Don't worry. I'm only muttering around. Don't worry. It's all right. Go for it.
Okay, so we're going to move on. I want to talk about this, though, because I actually really enjoyed our version of Eurovision. We called it, of course, we couldn't call it like USA Vision or something like that. No, we couldn't do that. We call it the American Song Contest, which was fine.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question about what you guys do, though? Do you allow songs that were written by already famous recording artists to be considered and chosen to represent a country?
It's fully open. Anyone is allowed
to
write.
Has that happened?
And anyone is allowed to sing. Yes, it has in the past. Generally speaking, there's kind of like a bit of an unwritten rule, though, that if you get to a truly international recording point, you kind of leave Eurovision alone. Do you know? It's like...
That you wouldn't do that. Okay.
You wouldn't do that because it's a bit like... It's like the professional athlete turning up at the amateur meet and saying, come on, guys, who wants to race me? It's like... Okay. So, yeah, but legally they're allowed to. Legally they're allowed to.
But
Russia tried it.
Shouldn't.
They did. Russia tried it. Britain
Russia tries some shit, man.
Yeah, but this is when Russia wasn't kind of like the evil empire it is today. Russia. Well, they've always been pretty fucking evil, but you know what I mean. They weren't. I know. This is when they were only invading Georgia, not Ukraine. They were. Sorry, I'm not very friendly with Russians at the moment.
I'm not.
Piss me off.
It's not the Russians. It's Russia.
I know. Look, you're right. You're right. No. You're 100% right. I shouldn't blame people. It's like I shouldn't blame Americans for Trump.
As a matter of fact,
I know.
Well, you should for the ones that voted for him. But as a matter of fact, the majority of people in Russia right now aren't even getting real news because they can't have it there. So
I know.
I feel sorry for them in a lot of ways, and also not.
But what was I saying? Oh yes, look, Britain has set ringers before. Russia sent Tattoo one year, who were quite a reasonably big international act. Well, I wouldn't say huge, but they were known internationally. Cliff Richard represented Britain one year. I mean, he was like the British Elvis. You know, the Shadows represented Britain one year. So every now and again, a country does try to do the dirty, but 99, they don't. Anyway, I'll shut up.
I feel like it's because it's not supposed to be about who's singing it, but it's about the song itself. And so if somebody writes one and they were already a recording artist and it gets through the committee and they choose it as the one that's going to represent their country or /state here, I don't feel like that's wrong. I was surprised, however, to see 3 different big recording stars actually have songs representing states in our contest, and one song from an artist that wasn't famous but definitely had already been recorded, produced, and was a hit on the radio. Now, to me, that was the issue.
Okay,
I don't like the fact that there was one song that had definitely already been recorded and had been out on the radio since like 2018 or 19.
That's against the rules in Eurovision. You're not allowed to do that. The song itself must be written for the competition itself. And
nice.
The singer and the writer and whoever owns the rights and all the rest of it, they lose all control of that song for a 12-month period until it goes into Eurovision ownership. They're allowed to perform it and they get royalties and all the rest of it.
Sure.
But it's actually controlled by Eurovision for 12 months.
Just for a year?
Just for a year, because then when you go into the next Eurovision, it's then freed up. It goes back to the writers and the artists and all the rest of it.
That's actually really nice.
Right, yeah, so you can't perform a pre-existing song. So, for instance, Kylie Minogue can't turn up and sing a song from 3 years ago. That's not, it's totally against the rules. So, if they're doing that in America, the rules are very different.
Well, nobody talked about it, but the thing is, my mom listens to country music, and one of the songs, and not the one that I liked the best, but somebody that was doing one, and I'm not going to mention the state, but one of the songs had already been produced and recorded by somebody else and had been a hit out there, like I think it was 2019. I could be completely wrong. It's either 2018, 2019. And so, because she was like, I recognize this song. I was like, no way. There's no way they'd let a song that was already on the radio or produced come out here and do this. I was wrong. So I had to tell her that. And you know how much that pains me deep inside my soul. So, I was kind of pissed. But we also had Michael Bolton, the recording artist, come out. And he did a song that he had written. I guess he wrote it with somebody else that was also representing a different state with a different song. So
yeah, you're allowed to do that, but yeah.
I didn't love it, but his song got picked, so what was I going to say?
Yeah,
I don't know, you know. And the recording artist Macy Gray, who I love. Okay,
Macy Gray.
She did a song.
Wow, yeah.
I love her, but you know, I felt like, you know, she has a very stylized sound, and at her age now, it's not like a clean cut kind of sound. It's a rougher kind of vibe to it, which I love. But if you don't know Macy Gray and you don't know her sound, you might not have appreciated her song as much. I think maybe a lot of the younger kids were watching. It was the first season of this. I feel like maybe they didn't get her vibe and didn't like her song because of that, and it wasn't because the song wasn't good. Michael Bolton's song was good. It was very commercial, and it was uplifting. It was a good song. It got chosen to get into the finals. It didn't win. Macy didn't make it into the finals. And the other star previous star that we had was Jewel. She was representing Alaska. And again, loving Jewel's old work. And please don't attack me if you're a Jewel fan, and please don't fucking tag Jewel. I'm just like, I don't need a fight. I'm going to say to you, as much as I have loved her in the past, I really got a vibe of her being very, very full of herself with the song. Like, she really...
Okay, yeah.
It's not that, like, have confidence in your stuff and your work, okay? But she was not happy that she didn't make it into the finals. She was not happy. And the song was okay, but I didn't think it was great or anything. It wasn't something that made me, like, vibe out on it. There was a song from Tennessee by a guy named Tyler Braden called 17, which gave me the feels like forever. And you know that I went to high school and college in Tennessee. And so there's a part of me that loves that country vibe. And this song touched on all of the reminiscent stuff of growing up in that place, which was really cool. And I love the song, and it did really, really well through all of the episodes. And it did really well through the semifinals. And it didn't win in the finals. And I don't want to give it away, but it didn't win. I was bummed. As a matter of fact, it got a lot lower than I thought, and I was kind of sad. There was a guy from Washington named Alan Stone who did a song that was kind of groovy 70s vibe to it. Really good. He did really well. I don't want to give away who won or anything, but I want to tell you guys one of my favorite songs on there was like the very first song that they played. And it was the very first song that they presented in the first episode of the show. And it was by a girl, I think, from Oklahoma. And her name is Alexa. And it's lowercase A-L-E, uppercase X-A, I think. But she is like a kind of a K-pop style to it. I wanted to play it for you, but I want to take a break for a second, and then I want to play like 30 seconds so you guys can hear it. Just because...
we might have to choose your bit. We might have to keep it under 10 seconds, I think.
Oh, is it under 10?
Is this? I don't know what the law is at the moment.
Well, what I know is that I'm allowed to send 30 seconds of an Apple Music song to somebody.
Right. Okay.
When I send it to them, it sends like that. So can we take a break for a second? I want to check it out because I actually want to play just a minute of one of the songs.
I think that would be a fantastic idea. All right. We will take a break and be right back.
Okay.
And we are back. So, Irish, do you have your phone all queued up? Are you ready? Should I say?
You know that I am.
Spin Meister General. What was it in Salt and Pepper? There was salt and there was pepper and there was Spinderella. Are you ready, Spinderella?
I'm not spinning shit, but yes, I am ready. Because we discussed this, and I think it's fun you're playing. We didn't. We discussed which song you thought I should play, and I agree. I'm going to play a bit of the one that gave me the feels. I don't want to give away what song won, okay, because that would be rude for people who haven't watched this. And if you haven't watched it, find it, because it's actually very interesting. And if you're in Europe or in Australia and you've been watching Eurovision, check out the songs from American Song Contest. See what you guys think, how they measure up. But this one was the one I was talking about. The guy Tyler Braden. He was representing Tennessee, which, as you know, I went to high school and college there. And I have, like, fond feelings in my heart. So I'm going to play this song. Not the whole thing, but a bit of it. It's called 17. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
We were 22 down the bottle of wine on a little man home. Sneaking out late every Sunday night with nowhere to go. And I thought I knew everything there was to know. But she showed me how wrong I could be our first night alone. And we were 17. We were digging down deep and howling at the moon, caught somewhere between a little too late and way too soon. When we were 17.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there because that was 60 seconds.
All right.
That's really good.
Even though I have to admit, I was going into a trance there. I was so sort of, I felt so, actually, do you know how I felt? I felt so relaxed and calm, and I love that song. That song's beautiful. It
was beautiful. I loved it the minute I heard it. There were a lot of songs on there that I actually really liked. The girl from American Samoa, man, her shit was badass. I loved it. Like a lot of songs. So if you haven't heard the music from it and you haven't watched it, I suggest watching it. What it showed me is that there is tons and tons of talent across our country. And after watching the very first part of the first semifinal from Eurovision, I think that's probably the case across the world. You know, I don't think talent is rare. I think it's rare that it gets, like, noticed.
There's a slight problem. Well, there's a slight problem, though, that happens with Eurovision, which I don't think would happen in America, with America's version. And that is that in Europe, there is still this god-awful idea that every country should somehow throw some sort of ethnic statement into a song. So, You know, so like for instance,
we're supposed to be a melting pot here. We shouldn't be throwing any statements into our own country.
No. I don't mean it like that. It's like every Spanish song has to throw flamenco into it, or every. Do you know what I mean? It's like where that's not the case, because Spaniards do not listen to flamenco 24 hours a day.
But if that's the song that's chosen to represent the country, I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, no. That's
let me tell you something. That song I just played the bit of from Tennessee. But let me be honest with you. People think Nashville is only country music. It isn't.
Oh, I know it's not.
Nashville is just a variety of so many different wonderful musicians and different musical styles. People from all over the world move there. And even though it's famous for country music, and they really pride themselves on that, and don't get me wrong, country music comes from bluegrass, which comes from music that our ancestors brought over to this country. I say our ancestors because I'm white as fuck, but country music comes though from other places, and it was the native music that was brought here. In the same way, I think all of the music in America is music that originated from other places and became slowly incorporated into the American style and created its own style. And it became uniquely American. And so that's what I think is really cool about music here in the U.S. I think across the country and not across the country, across countries, across Europe, across, Eastern Europe, across the Asian regions and the Pacific and different areas in Latin America and South America. And, if you guys live up in Antarctica or down in or I say down in Antarctica, I can't speak
Antarctica
now.
is
and
down.
Up in the Arctic.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure everybody within small regions everywhere on the globe has taken music and transformed it into something personally regional. And we do that within our own homes. Our own homes are these tiny microcosms of regional music when we're making our music.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds Episode 2. I will say nothing more.
Oh, shut up, Warren. Don't get me excited.
No, you've actually just hit on an entire concept of the writers in regards to Episode 2, Season 1, Strange New Worlds. So there you go. Yep. So there you go. I'll say no more. Yeah.
I'm not good at geography, but I know writing.
So yeah.
I know stories.
So there you go. There you go.
I didn't know when to stop drinking wine, apparently. But I'm
the one thing I do believe, although I'm not 100% sure of this, but I do think the American competition, I think the quality of music is slightly higher than out of Europe, but maybe. But then, I don't know. I
don't want to judge that. I did say to you that was funny to me the first half of the first semifinal. I found a lot of the bands or groups or performers to be reminiscent of weird 80s rock bands and stuff here from the US.
Did you see Iceland? Or did you not?
I did see Iceland, and I said, "Oh my God, it's Fire Saga." No, but I didn't.
No. But
sorry, I'm not trying to insult Iceland. No,
Iceland,
they were ethereal and beautiful this year.
Well, Iceland was. No, I think if it's Iceland, I'm talking about. Iceland looked like they stepped straight.
Group of women like in the circle.
That was no. Oh, was that Iceland?
Oh, where was that?
I can't remember now. But yeah, I know who you're talking about. But no, after that,
a couple of the songs were ethereal. Most of them were like 1980s rock in the U.S.
I think Iceland,
bad rock.
Iceland was looked like it was honestly, all they'd done is they time traveled Iceland's entry from 1975.
Oh my God!
Right,
I know who you're talking. Okay,
right,
yes.
and actually because. They were actually. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I actually liked them. I thought they were actually really good. But they were a real folky 70s kind of like big hats, floral dresses. Yeah. And no, I actually liked them. But it's. I'll be fascinated to watch the American version. Actually, truthfully, I really would.
Can you watch it?
I very much doubt. I'll have to look into that. I really don't know. I'll have to look.
Maybe I can send you videos. I might be able to.
Yeah,
I'll check it out. I do suggest if anybody hasn't watched it and you have a chance to watch it, go watch American Song Contest and then go watch Eurovision. If you're in the U.S., you can watch semifinals 1 and 2 and the finals on Peacock. So I don't know where you guys can watch our stuff.
Even though it's probably already over by the time you hear this, but you never know. It may not be. I mean...
can you watch... You don't know if you can watch American Song Contest. That's what I'm saying. Tell them where to watch they can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
They know where to watch Eurovision. What's wrong with you? We're the only ones behind.
I wasn't thinking. Sorry.
I know.
But one thing I was going to say, if... although I know it's pointless, but I'll just say it anyway. No. Well, I mean, it's the voting will be over by the time people are listening. But a vote for Switzerland and Germany is a vote for Australia, and vice versa this year, because the Swiss contender for Eurovision is an Australian. Right, and Germany. If Australia wins Eurovision is hosted in Germany. So just remember that if you're a German and you would like it hosted in your country, if you vote for Australia, Australia wins. However, I don't know why we're all saying this, because we all know who's going to win. It's going to be fucking Ukraine. All right, so
yay! Yes,
you
know what? They were good, but I love Moldova more.
Yeah, but it's a foregone conclusion. In my opinion, okay, what's going to happen is that everyone is going to vote for Ukraine. So
they were good though, but I just enjoyed Moldova. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I get where you're going with this, but the thing is
that I had so much fun watching them. They made me smile, and I need that. So Ukraine might need a win too.
But the other thing too, we all know that
they're going to win the other thing.
But we also know that Greece will vote for Cyprus, and Cyprus will vote for Greece. With that thrown to one side, because they always give each other 12 points, but they always do. It's a fucking joke.
Oh, so bitter.
I mean, well, it's every single time. It's like, and Greece gives its 12 points to Cyprus, and Cyprus gives its 12 points to Greece, and everyone and you just hear the boos in the fucking crowd going, "Oh, for real? Seriously?"
Yeah, the same thing happens in our elections. It's fine.
I know. I heard one person actually say, "Don't have a look at who wins this year. Have a look at who comes second. That's actually going to be the most popular act." The reason being that Ukraine will win. Have a look at who comes second. That's actually going to be the most popular act.
We talked about the fact that you said that for Eurovision it was more about the performance, than necessarily. Okay.
Oh well, it's a mixture. It's 50-50.
No, it is. Yeah. I get that, but I can see how the performance would matter. I thought the performance mattered in American Song Contest. The difference is they named it differently. It's not the vision of Europe. Okay, it is the song of America here.
Right.
It's not technically about the performance, although the performance would matter. Let's be honest. But it's, I guess, the way they worded it, it would make your mind think it's more about the song itself.
Right. That's interesting.
I thought it was a weird choice for the title, but also I thought, well, maybe they're really trying to emphasize the fact that it's the song and not the performer.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I don't know. Yeah,
that would be different.
Encouraging that.
Well, one of the things because there is in fact a drinking game with Eurovision, which if you play it, oh my God, if you play it, expect to be throwing up under the couch within the first 30 minutes because it is, the rules to it is that as soon as a performer comes on stage, that's 5 shots just for the first performer, let alone the next performer. The rules are like every time there is a key change, you have to take a shot. Every time there is a costume change, you have to take a shot. Every time there is national identity, you have to take a shot. Every time a male has a moustache, you have to take a shot. Like there it is. It's like the rules
Porn
get
mustache,
to a point.
2 shots.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous,
Yeah, well, it sounds like my kind of game.
Oh, dearie me.
I'm out of wine, thank God. But you know what? We've been on here a long time, and we've been talking about Eurovision.
We have.
And American Song Contest and random shit. But it's been a long time since I talked to you.
We have.
So,
and I suppose if you've got a few minutes left, there was something I just wanted to bring up. Australia has its election next weekend.
Yeah, I saw you had your democracy sausages there.
Oh yes, because that's a big deal, of course. Because voting is compulsory, of course, in Australia.
Do they just give you the sausages, or do you have to pay?
Oh no! They cost $1. You don't.
Oh God!
Oh, you don't have to pay for it. It's not free. They're not free.
I only asked because my mother wanted to know if they compulsory made you vote. Like, oh my God! Listen to me. Right. If they make you vote compulsorily, is that the right word? I don't know. I didn't say that properly, but you know what I mean. If they
Compulsorily-
make you come vote,
well,
do they
yeah.
also give you the sausages on white bread? That's what I want to know.
Okay, well, first of all, yes, the sausages are on white bread, unless you live in the unless you live in the inner city, where sometimes they come on focaccia bread or something, or they have vegan sausages.
Focaccia.
But
That
a lot,
white Wonder Bread.
Oh yeah, but there are a lot of
Oh,
people
man.
who complain about that because they say it's not traditional. You know, it's like the
Put it on a goddamn bun. What's wrong with you?
Oh no! Well, there are people who actually claim that it's a national identity, and you shouldn't. Anyway, I won't go down that path. But no, you got to pay for it. It costs about $1. So
It's
generally,
okay to elevate your food.
yeah,
It's okay.
I know.
Elevate the democracy
I know.
sausage.
So no. What happens is you queue up to vote. You go in and you vote. And then when you come out the rear door after you've voted, because generally our polling booths are in schools or, you know, town halls, places like that, right?
Those here.
And same as they are in probably most places in the world. And then so you go in the front door,
Brown
and
people
then
from voting here.
and well, we have none of that problem, so that doesn't. Right, so no, we don't. Well, yeah, basically, because everyone has.
That's what I'm saying.
Vote, so
Everybody votes.
And so you go in the front door, you get your name ticked off, and then they ask you the standard questions, and you've got to answer them correctly. Because if you
onions or no onions, mustard or ketchup.
Well, if you don't answer the questions correctly, you get a knock on the door within about 4 weeks from the federal police. So you've got to answer them correct. Oh. Yeah, if you illegally vote, you will get a knock on the door from the federal police. So you do need to answer your questions correctly.
Can I ask you a question? If everybody is required to vote, how do you illegally vote?
Okay. So
is it voting twice? Is that what you mean? Or voting in the wrong precinct? Or
no, you're allowed to vote in the wrong precinct. That's okay.
Okay.
No, you just tell them. You just say, I'm from number A. I mean,
holy
B.
shit! That can't happen here.
Oh no!
Like, you gotta go
and they say, "Give us 2 seconds."
Road.
No, they say, "Give us 2 seconds," and they fumble through a box and they say, "Here's your papers for number A. Go and vote."
Holy
right?
fuck.
Oh yeah. No, you don't have to actually go to.
You're really just trying to make me move there.
You
Stop.
You can live in Melbourne and go into a voting booth in Sydney and vote on the day, and in the box with the person that you sign in with, they will find the voting papers for where you live, and they will give them to you. So, oh no, you can do that, but you can also do your postal votes and your absentee votes and stuff. So, no, you walk in, and they say, so who are you? So you give them your name, and they say, right. And then they go through and they find everyone with that name, and they say, what is your address? And you give them your address, and then they find the matching name to the matching address, and then they cross it off, okay,
right.
on their little list. Now, if more than one person goes in on the day, because there might be 5 voting booths for that area or in a different area, and then they actually cross it, your name gets crossed off more than once, then you will get a knock on the door from the police, and we might have a little bit of a problem actually. I think. Oh no, we're back. That's all right. That's okay. Sorry. You there?
No, that was me.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
I'm here. I'm muted.
Oh, sorry. we got a little bit of a static noise. Sorry, but so if let's say on the day someone in booth A is counting votes and someone counting votes, and then suddenly there's more than one vote for this person, it gets announced. It's handed over to the electoral committee. The electoral committee looks at it, makes sure that, yes, it is the same name on the same address with 2 votes. They then hand it over to the federal police. That's the equivalent of the FBI in Australia. And then within 4 weeks, you will have an armed officer knocking on your door wanting to know why you voted twice. And now, I don't think anyone's ever gone to jail for doing it, but people have been fined for. But people have been fined for doing it, as in monetary fines. However, Australia has been a nation legally since 1901. since that time, the amount of illegal votes is so low. It is so low that no political party wants to look into it or investigate it at all. Right?
Ooh,
It is that low. So the thing is, it's
the only ones here that are committing voter fraud are the ones pointing at the other side going, voter fraud, don't look over here. Like, that's literally what's happening here. I don't want to pretend like people never make mistakes on the Dem side here in the U.S. That's not true. We make mistakes. We have a woman who didn't realize she wasn't allowed to vote after being released from jail, voted, and got sent back to jail for 5 years. While we have people who are in our Congress who gave fake addresses so that they could vote in 2 different places at once. And they just were like removed off the voter rolls of the second state.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we say here there's a lot of difference between the haves and the have-nots.
Yes, we don't have that problem. It's more like...
Yeah, because you know why? Everybody votes where you are because it's required.
Yeah.
They are one party here is actively trying to keep people from voting. Certain people. Not them. So... Warren, we've been on here for 2.5 hours.
All right. Have we? No, we've only actually been on for an hour and 15 minutes, but we've been talking
what?
for
Because
so long.
we talked for almost an hour.
I know,
but
I know.
Know what? It's like 2 a.m. here.
I know. So we're going to wind it up. And so anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Hope you liked our kind of musical edition of conversation.
The Eurovision / American Song Contest version.
Right. That's exactly right. And can I just finish up and sort of say, fuck you, ScoMo. I hope you're not Prime Minister next time we talk. And I hope it's Elbow. So go Elbow, fuck ScoMo. There you go.
Well, you know what? I don't know what that means because I'm an American. We don't pay attention to other things. But let me just say to you, I would say the same thing about pretty much everything that's going on in the Supreme Court. Fuck the Supreme Court right now.
I've heard a bit about this, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, actually, I think we've actually lost the connection. So we will probably wind it up there because I think our internet is down. So.
Right now.
Oh, no, there we go.
Other than that, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
So it's
late and I've had a lot of wine.
Yes.
We should go.
We should go.
Yeah.
All right then. No worries. Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back when we're back.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Cheers, guys.
Sláinte.